What is the crack, everyone? B2B Sports is back. Episode 5 of season 3. Sam is here as always.
Always.
As always. No camera today. Obviously, Sam has still got Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah, network connectivity problems. I don't even want to talk about Vodafone.
Vodafone, get in the bin. Shocker of the week.
For like 20 hours since the beginning of September, so I've had enough.
Yeah, anyone who's listening, don't go with Vodafone. There you go. Sorry, ran over and done.
Save yourselves now.
Yeah, don't do it. It's too much hassle.
Literally.
But yeah, we're here again to talk about some sports waffle. Where do we start? Let's start with the Ballon d'Or winner, Benzema. Did you watch any of the ceremony yesterday, or did you hear much about it? Or
not tons. I saw was it Ocon who turned up in the F1 car?
That was so pointless.
It didn't make any sense.
Did you see it? It just literally had like a strip of about 50 meters, and all he did was like wheel spin, but he was wheel spinning like 2 miles an hour. It was just like creating a lot of noise and smoke to take him like 10 seconds. It was really strange.
Yeah. Didn't really get that, but that was the kind of the most I saw. And then obviously I saw who won, but that was it.
Well deserved though, to be fair. Well deserved.
Yeah.
You don't want any fast happen last year. I think Messi wasn't even in the top 30 or top 25?
No, he wasn't.
I heard that Ben from the Corridor of Uncertainty podcast, he said that Darwin Núñez was he was like 25th or 22nd or something like that.
Which I don't really understand how that works.
Madness.
I mean, even if he'd had a great season before Liverpool, which he hadn't really. Well, he had a good season, but not like Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
A bit odd. I think because he moved to Liverpool, it got a bit more traction. But no, I'm glad Benzema won. He definitely deserved it from last year. And I quite liked him. I heard Courtois have like a chat with the reporters after it, saying like he couldn't really have done much more last year than to be able to try and win it. But yeah, goalkeepers just never winning it for
not a chance.
Whatever reason.
Absolutely not.
Which I think is annoying. There should be. I mean, there is a goalkeeper reward, isn't there? It's like goalkeeper of the year.
Individual one.
Yeah. But I don't think. It's annoying that they'll probably never win it.
It's almost like, in the NFL, the MVP award is essentially the quarterback award, isn't it? Or 9 times out of 10, the quarterback will win it. And it's similar to the Ballon d'Or. A goalkeeper's not going to have a chance, and it's mainly the offensive goal scoring positions that are going to have the best chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. You don't really see a defender winning either, to be honest. So
what I did think was a bit odd was that Real Madrid didn't win Club of the Year.
Yeah, Man City won it, even though they
won the Premier League.
Yeah, they only won the Prem. Yeah, that was it.
Which makes no sense because Real Madrid won La Liga, the Champions League, the Super Cup, but just on the Copa del Rey, I think.
Yeah, absolutely smashed it.
Didn't get anything, so I think that was a bit wrong.
Yeah, it is. The one thing about the Ballon d'Or is a popularity contest, isn't it? It's it's never really done on like actual stats. It's always like players and clubs vote for each other.
I think it's a bit weird the way it's done, and it's a bit more politically done, isn't it? They all vote for each other, if your mate's with, or your mate has a row with somebody else, so you don't vote for that person. It's just it's weirdly done. But yeah, Benzema definitely deserved it, and it definitely deserves it because he's been sick for a very long time.
Very long time.
I think he finally gets some recognition that he probably deserves.
I'm just
glad that he could keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's the oldest Ballon d'Or winner. I don't know how old Benzema is, like 36 maybe, 35.
Yeah,
but I think what I saw was that he's the oldest Ballon d'Or winner, which again, fair play to him. Keep grinding. That's what it proves. Did you see the Liverpool City game on Sunday or hear about it?
I heard bits. I again didn't see it.
It was a very entertaining game. I watched most of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Liverpool won, or beat City 1-0 at Anfield. Bit of a surprise, to be honest. A, that Haaland didn't score, and B, that Liverpool got 3 points. They've got quite a few injuries hanging over them. And yeah, it was huge 3 points. Salah, great individual goal. Completely spun, was it Diaz, the Man City centre-back, one-on-one with the goalkeeper and slide it in. And there was some antics on the touchline with Pep and Klopp, been very animated, and it was a great game, to be honest. I thought very attacking, end-to-end stuff. So
it sounded good. Obviously Foden had a disallowed goal.
Yes.
Which I suppose was a little bit controversial because of it. Was it a shirt pull? But the shirt pull on Salah by Bernardo Silva wasn't given a free kick, so why was that one? So there was a bit of controversy there, but I think by the sounds of it, Liverpool probably did deserve it.
Yeah.
And Liverpool seemed to be Haaland's kryptonite.
Yeah.
The 2 games he hasn't scored in this season have both been against Liverpool.
Exactly. It's, to be fair, to watch that battle, Van Dijk versus Haaland was pretty insane. Like, they're both about the same size as each other, both the same build. But yeah, Van Dijk got the better of Haaland this game. And like you said, there was a couple refereeing VAR decisions over the weekend that didn't really make much sense. And we'll touch on those a little bit later. But yeah, that Foden one where Haaland tugs who was it, Fabinho back. At first I thought that was a free kick, to be honest. But again, you've got to be consistent with those decisions. And we're not seeing that in the Premier League at the moment, which is a bit
it's been very poor this season.
Shocking. We'll move on to Chelsea. Chelsea got a nice 2-0 win away at Villa. Mason Mount with a brace. Coming right into good form ahead of World Cup, ahead of selection. There was a lot of sort of, informed players in those positions, and I think Mount at the minute is playing himself back into the England side, which is good to see.
Definitely, he's played very well.
The Kepa triple save. I know, Sam, you've had a bit of beef with Kepa over the years, mate.
He turned up. He had his coffee that morning. He decided to be a goalkeeper.
He actually decided to move and save the ball rather than just.
Honestly, it was a good triple save. To be fair,
it was good. It was good.
But yeah, he's still rubbish.
Do you think that? Do you think the time's up for Gerrard? Do you think he's going to get the sack imminently?
He must do. He hasn't done anything. Signings have been poor. His management style has been poor. Just hasn't got the results. And yeah, there's no real identity to Villa at the moment. And I feel like they need something to reinvigorate themselves.
Although I watched the game, Tyrone Mings, you're not helping Gerrard, mate. Honestly, that was a horrific defensive.
I don't even know what he was thinking.
I don't know what that was at all.
Even if he has overrun the ball, like, you don't have to go off the header. And then to hit it backwards and then just stand completely still, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there was probably even enough time for the goalkeeper to come out and get it. There was that much.
He was just so surprised that it just happened.
Yeah, sorry, but we've got to call a spade, and that was pretty horrific. I can't lie.
Yeah.
On the injury front, Chelsea got a big few injuries at the minute. Reece James is out for potentially 5 to 8 weeks. I think
he's out of the World Cup, isn't he?
Yeah, he's extremely doubtful for the World Cup. I know he's put some stuff on Twitter and social media that it's a race against time and he's going to try and be fit for it. But I think he's in a brace for like 4 or 5 weeks. So,
oh really?
Yeah, it's not looking good for him. And I just got a notification before we jumped on this podcast that Kante's having hamstring surgery and he's out for 4 months, which is a hell of a long time. And
yeah.
You probably know, Sam, hamstrings are tough injuries to overcome. So the
surgery is quite major.
And obviously, we know Kante's playing style. He's here, there, and everywhere, and maybe he's done too much running and too much chasing
Probably.
and he's done it. He's done him in.
Relied on too much, yeah.
So yeah, it's a big
you've broken Kante.
Often
Chelsea have broken him.
Yeah.
Jorginho doesn't do enough, so Kante's just destroyed his hamstrings.
All those years that Kante's had to run and work extra hard because Jorginho is just as slow as a snail.
Because he's the third best player in the world.
Not anymore. Not anymore. He was last year, which I still don't know how that was the case.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
I'll take it. Did you hear about United's game 0-0 against Newcastle?
Yeah, I saw Ronaldo's disallowed goal.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Which I think he has a point.
Yeah, well, I saw the video back and it's so close. Like the ref blew his whistle, and it literally, as he blew his whistle, the Newcastle defender like touched it back to the goalkeeper. So it's really, really close, and it's on intent. Was the intention from that Newcastle defender to give the ball to the goalkeeper to take the free kick, or was he taking the free kick himself? Like, you're never gonna know, are you?
No, but I think that's a relevant intent.
Do you reckon?
In that sense, if the whistle's blown and he's then kicked it.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Actually, I suppose you're right.
That's the take. I mean, if he was standing over a free kick about to for a shot at goal, if somebody accidentally touched it after the whistle, that would be given as he'd taken the free kick.
Yeah, so, I suppose so.
I mean, at the end of the day, we've got a draw. Still got points. Didn't lose. And Newcastle are in a good bit of form. So
yeah, Newcastle are decent.
We'll take it.
Although you got to be putting someone else in front of goal. You can't be having Fred missing these sitters. You know, Fred missed a howler. It's absolutely stinking.
Well, I mean, he's happening. Yeah, I don't think any of us can really rely on Fred to do too much. He'll have his one good game a season where he's basically Kante. And then he'll have a few games where he will score, and then he'll have lots of these games where he is just shit.
Fred absolutely amazes me, because he is shit, I'd say 80% of the time. That small 20% where he'll literally just turn into prime like Ronaldinho for like 20, 30 seconds.
Literally.
And then he'll go back to being Fred.
And then we go and spend 80 million on Casemiro and don't play him.
Yeah, that's very unusual.
Pisses me off.
The same with Ronaldo, though. It's obviously not a Ten Hag signing.
Yeah.
But yeah, unusual. Arsenal got another win. Again, they're top of the table. It's unreal. I don't know how Arsenal are still top of the table. Are you considering Arsenal title contenders this year, or do you think the inevitable is going to happen and they'll just drop off?
I think it's silly to count them out, because each game they're playing really well. I don't think I've seen them have a terrible game. Even when they lost to United, they didn't play badly. I think it'd be silly to say that they're going to fail and be reduced to fourth again. Or so I think we can finally say that Arsenal probably have a chance this season.
They are title contenders. Yes, I think they are. As much as I hate to admit it, I do think they are. And also just seeing Liverpool slip to City, I think that's going to give them a bit of a confidence boost. You know, they've got a bit of a gap. Well, a 3-point gap is it from City now? So, if they just keep playing the way they play and keep taking one game at a time, they have got a chance. But I do feel like it's going to be crunch time when they do play the Cities, the Liverpools, the Tottenhams, the Chelseas. You know, you've got to win. When they already have beaten Liverpool, haven't they, this year? So, but yeah, we'll see how that happens and see how it develops. Other scorelines: Spurs again got a good win, 2-0. Brentford beat Brighton 2-0. That was a good result for Brentford. Fulham 2-2 against Bournemouth. That was an exciting game. And I believe that Wolves won, and they potentially get a Nuno back, which is a weird one, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't really understand that. Why would you go back?
Yeah, why would you go back? I don't know. I don't know. Because
Not that he's a bad manager, but he wasn't there long ago.
no, he wasn't.
It hasn't been like 6 years, and like, he's coming back for his second spell. Like he just left.
It wasn't long at all.
So I feel it's very odd for that move,
I just
and
feel
why
like
you
the
wouldn't.
Wolves haven't developed though, have they? Like the reason why Nuno got sacked is because they couldn't score goals. And
Yeah.
they're always very defensively solid, but they were losing games 1-0, 2-0. And then they got the sack. But even with Bruno Lage, that was still the case. Then they still weren't scoring enough. Even with all this talent they've got.
Yeah, maybe they were just like, might as well go back to the person who broke it, see if he can fix it.
Yeah.
Rather than the person. So
yeah.
I find it odd, but I hope it works out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I like
the championship, we better touch on the championship quick because it is insane. I think Sam tweeted out or said something in our group chat that Burnley are top of the league when they've got more draws than wins. They've got 7 draws and 6 wins. Sorry. And I looked at the table. 6 points separate first place and 15th place.
ridiculous.
That is insane.
I've never seen the championship look like this.
No.
It is the weirdest looking channel. Obviously, Burnley top of the league with now currently, because Blackburn are playing tonight, 2 games in hand. They're now second in the league, but they've got 6 wins, 7 draws. Blackburn have 9 wins, 0 draws, and 7 losses, and they're top of the league. How does that make any sense? They've got 7 losses already.
I have no idea. No idea.
That's ridiculous. It's a bit like, to be fair, it's a bit like Arsenal. They've not drawn this season either, and that's what the reason they're top. But yeah, it's just looking so odd. Who's down at the bottom here? So it's Preston North End have scored 8 goals and conceded 10. You scored 8 goals in 16 games.
Yeah, he's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
How does that work? Coventry have scored more.
It's insane. Obviously,
and they're bottom of the table.
Shout out QPR, Luke from the Corridor of Uncertainty podcast. Big QPR fan. They are sitting. Is it 4th? They're sitting right now.
Yeah, they're
well
6th at the moment. It's just because of games being played at the moment.
Yeah. Also Birmingham as well. My girlfriend's dad is a season ticket holder at Birmingham, and they're back up there. Like they're in the top 15. So it's they were. But yeah,
I don't like this side of you, Ollie.
Why? Why? Why not? What's wrong with Birmingham?
Okay, so before you met Daishi, you would have answered that question yourself.
Yeah, we'll move on from that.
It's the one thing that upsets me.
I did had to break it to her dad that I did go to a Villa game before.
Yeah, and supported Villa and supported them in the FA Cup final against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And surprised he even talks to
you. Oh dear. Anyway, up the bed. Yeah. Also, there was should cover going back over sort of gaffs, Premier League and Championship gaffs. I don't know if you saw, but the Arsenal game against Leeds was delayed by 45 minutes due to a power failure. Just weird. It was just bizarre. And then
that, but it was played during the day. What power failure meant they couldn't play football during the sunlight?
You actually have a very good point. I didn't think about that.
I don't really get. Obviously, like the scoreboard might not be working, but the referee's watch still works, and everyone can count. I don't get it.
That's actually a brilliant take. I actually didn't think about that, to be fair. And also the other gaff was again involving Birmingham, but this time it was at Hull. So when Hull Hull played Birmingham at Hull. The game had to be delayed because the goalposts were too big and they need to be sawed shorter. And I have no idea how this happens. How did
work it out?
Just what?
Like how do you in the first place have goalposts that are too big? Like they've played football before. They've used the goalpost before, so I don't understand how they're all of a sudden too big. But also, who went round and measured it?
I have no idea. And to me, when you're buying goalposts, even as a professional club, surely they're all the same size.
Like, you think? You would think.
I have no idea, but yeah,
they're not all buy them from the same shop. Come on, guys.
Yeah, pretty comical, to be honest. And I wonder how much they had to saw off. Like, was it like 30 centimeters? Was it like
2 inches?
2
inches.
Bloody hell. What is going on? I tell you. FPL. There is a midweek game week, which has nearly caught me out this week. But I managed to get me changed in. Actually, I made a free hit. It took me free hit.
So did I.
You did as well. In hindsight, I should have sent me wild card, but
I didn't have a wild card left for this at this point.
I suppose the only problem with wild card is that you want them Arsenal and Man City players back in your squads. Like
that's the only reason I did a free hit. Well, obviously because I don't have my wild card for the beginning of the season anymore. But yeah, I get my players back. I don't want to sell Haaland and then buy him again.
Who have the captains this week?
So I have captain Mason Mount.
Wow. Okay. Nice one.
They've got Brentford. So I changed my whole team.
Right. Okay.
Went out there. I got Lloris. Well, I already had Lloris, so I didn't change my whole team. But got Trippier, Burn. They got Everton at home. I've got 3 Liverpool players: Robertson, Salah, and Firmino.
Yeah, I've got them exactly as well.
But I didn't captain any of them just because West Ham could be tricky. I've got Anthony, got Spurs, and then I've got Billing and Solanke for Birmingham for Bournemouth because they're on a bit of a run.
Yeah,
and they've got Southampton at home, and I've got Kane as well, just because.
Yeah, similar squads to be fair. That Liverpool 3, I've got exactly the same, but I've captained Salah. I thought after his 6-minute hat trick in Europe and after his goal at Man City, I'm hoping for that he just goes back to Salah of old. But yeah, it's getting close, man. Sam's slipped a little bit over the past week or two. I'm catching him.
So you're only 5 points behind me.
Is it that close? Is it?
Yeah. I'm 49 points behind Ben.
Oh, okay. Ben's got a bit of a lead now. Catch him.
I'm not enjoying it.
I think everyone's caved in and gone for the free hit in our little 4-man league. I don't know about Ben though. I don't know what he's done, but I know Luke he's gone for the wild card, so we'll have to see. Gain ground on him.
Ben is taking the hit. And he's also not changed his captain.
Oh, has he not? Who's his captain?
His captain Haaland. Oh, but his vice captain is Salah, so he should be fine.
Classic.
But yeah, he's got 3 players. He's got Haaland, Saka, and Martinelli not playing.
Ooh. What's his bench saying?
He's got Cancelo and Saliba on his bench. So he's really taking a hit.
Yeah, he's going for it. And he's just gonna hope that the hit's not too bad. And to end the football section quickly, I saw this debate on Sky Sports this week. But do you think if Harry Kane was in the same this City team instead of Haaland, do you think he'd score the same amount of goals, less goals, or more goals than Haaland is currently right now?
I don't think he would have scored as many.
You don't think he would?
I don't think he would have scored the same goals that Haaland has. I think he would have possibly scored different goals. Some of the goals that Haaland might not have scored.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I don't think he would have scored as many.
They're both so different. They're just different styles of striker. Obviously, Haaland's with his pace, he wants to like wants that through ball, wants that splitting
Going
pass.
at 100 miles an hour every time.
Yeah, whereas Kane, he drops back into the play a little bit more, doesn't he? He links up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'd actually say he wouldn't score as many goals. As stupid as that is, it's just bizarre how we're basing how good Haaland is off what a quarter of
Honestly.
the season. Even though Harry Kane's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, so it's madness, absolute madness.
Yeah.
NFL Week 6. I've just got to start off with bragging rights. Vikings are 5-1, mate. Can you believe it?
I don't understand how. I don't understand how. Like, you have not played. You're not being the best team in 5 games.
We're so good, mate. We're
Like,
very good. We
oh,
deserve it.
it's so annoying because I don't think you've dominated one game.
No.
Possibly the game where Jefferson had like nearly 200 yards.
Yeah.
They dominated a bit of it and then almost went to shit.
And that's the general. That's the general consensus among Vikings fans that we have not played well in all 4 quarters of one game yet. You know, it's been max 2 quarters, potentially 3 quarters, but there's always been a quarter or 2 where we've just looked bang average. And it's mad that we're 5-1. Absolutely mad.
Doesn't make any sense.
Lucky here and there, but you can't complain, can you? You got to take it.
Take it when you can get it.
Exactly. Yeah, so we did beat the Dolphins. Dolphins without Tua. It was just such a weird game, a little bit sloppy, loads of 3 and outs. To be honest, I don't know how the Vikings won because I think they went like 10, they had like 10 3 and outs. Which is crazy. But it was so strange because obviously the Dolphins have had so many quarterback injuries and injury scares. So their third string, Skylar Thompson, started. And then about into the second quarter, I think he got injured. So Teddy Bridgewater came on after he just cleared concussion protocol.
I was going to say I don't really understand how Teddy came in because why did he not start if he was able to play?
Yeah, I don't know why, if they were just taking it easy. They did, obviously they've had a lot of media flack for the whole Tua incident, so maybe they just didn't want to chuck him in. But obviously he got brought in anyway, so but yeah, we played pretty well. Pass coverage coverage is a little bit sloppy from the Vikings. We just sit off and let them like just spray too many passes. I'd like to be a little bit more aggressive on defense, but can't complain. And they put all them chains on Kirk and the plane back as well. Yeah, there was another video clip going around on Twitter with Kirk Cousins with his chains on after we mentioned it last week. And this week he's got about four chains on, and he's got some glasses on. He's looking like an absolute G. So I think this is like a bit of a tradition now.
But I don't understand it because he's not played well. He's not played amazing, has he?
Statistically, this is one of his worst years as a Viking. But he's getting the wins, man. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
If he can get the wins, you can get the wins. It's working, whatever he's doing.
He's mad. The skin of his teeth. Our only loss is to the 6-0 Eagles. So the only undefeated team in the NFL. So he's pretty mad.
Come November 23rd or whenever it is, it'll all change.
Yeah. Is that the Patriots game, mate? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
I think that's Thursday night football.
Is it on Thursday? I thought it was on Monday.
I think it's Thursday night football.
That's annoying.
I think it is. I'll have to double check, but I think it's Thursday night football. But yeah, the Vikings got a bye week now, so we can sit back and rest, and then we've got Cardinals the next week, which should be a tough game. How did the Patriots do this week, Sam?
Patriots absolutely bossed it.
Smashed it.
Absolutely smashed it. 29-0. Oh, no, that was a week ago. 38-15. I don't know how I skipped a week then.
I mean, to be fair, you can flex on that week as well. We didn't talk about that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Battering the number one offense in the league.
Yeah.
29-0 with Bailey Zapp.
Oh my God.
And then battering the Cleveland Browns again, also with Bailey Zapp, going for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
When you sent me those stats, I was literally in shock. I was like, no way. 300 yards. Jeez.
I've never seen Bill go to like have his third string quarterback and trust him that much. But he's played really well. He's getting the throws in on time. They're accurate, and we're catching them, which is also surprising. But yeah, played really well against a good Browns team, and I've picked up from 1-3, and now we're 3-3. So same record as the Dolphins.
Yeah, I was just about to say like, the same record as Dolphins. How mad is that?
Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I'm riding a bit of a wave, and I would take it.
Honest question, honest answer as well. Who is QB1?
It's tough that.
Who is QB1 Patriots right now?
You have to say it's still Mac Jones at the moment.
Still Mac Jones.
If he comes back.
Yeah.
If he's fit, it has to be Mac Jones, I think, at the moment. But I think QB2 is now Bailey Zapp. I don't think Brian Hoyer's in that.
Yeah, no, Brian Hoyer's
in. There's just no need. So I think he's done himself a lot of credit. And I hope we can build on both of them because they're both like it's the first time for obviously a very long time we've had two young quarterbacks who can play football very well.
Yeah, definitely. There was a
back to when we had Garoppolo and Brady.
But... Yeah, insane. There was a funny moment in that game. I don't know if you saw it, but like one of the rookies that you've got recovered a muffed punt, and he hands the ball back to Belichick. And it's really bizarre. Belichick just looks at the ball like, "Why the hell are you handing me the ball?" And then one of his assistants just comes and grabs it from him. Like, it's just so funny. Belichick is literally just a meme. Like, so grumpy.
But it was he just overtook the guy second on the list of all-time coach wins.
Oh, is that what he was doing? Was that why he's?
I think that's why he was handing him the ball. But obviously, Belichick's like, I don't give a shit.
that makes a little bit more sense now, but it's still funny because Belichick's like, don't want it. The Chiefs and the Bills went to town. Another insane game between them two. The Bills got the win, 24-20. Allen outguns Mahomes. Mate, that this rivalry is going to just go on and on. And it's insane.
It's one of the best ones we've seen for a while because every game is a nail biter.
So good. It's so good.
So yeah, I love it.
I think Tony Romo said it best. Like, I think when it was the end of the second quarter, just before halftime, I think he said like these two quarterbacks, the only two quarterbacks in the league, really, bar maybe one or two that like with 16 seconds left on the clock, they can like it's still a game. Do you know what I mean? It's insane. Like time doesn't matter. Like they'll find a way. Like it's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, if you compare the two, like Josh Allen isn't even in the equation in terms of their stats and their accolades." But I think that Josh Allen has the harder hand at the Bills. They're definitely the top two quarterbacks in the league at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. And Josh Allen, man, like he can run with it. He can hurdle. Like he's like just a big tight end, like that can throw the ball. And also shout out Gabe Davis as well, mate. Gabe Davis, big plays over the past few weeks. Huge touchdowns. I think he got another 70-odd yarder. Eagles continued their winning streak. They beat the Cowboys. Still the only undefeated team left in the league. And Cooper Rush is handed.
How are they undefeated?
Mate, I have no idea. They're good though, to be fair. They are a good squad, but I'm so surprised it's still undefeated.
I don't really understand how that team is undefeated.
And then Cooper Rush gets his first L as a starter. I was like, when's it gonna come? But he's finally taken it out.
I think this year, this next week, Dak might be back.
Yes, I think he is.
Because of he's been put back into my squad on FPL on my fantasy football, not FPL app. So it says he's likely to return at the moment.
Interesting.
I'm currently doing the same as I'm basically doing the same as the Patriots on my fantasy football.
That is mad
Uh,
you say that, you know. That is actually mad because in the sleeper league, the other
I
NFL
don't, honestly, that's
five and
ridiculous.
one.
How are you like? Were you 5-0?
5 and 1. I'm the same record as the Vikings, just like you're the same record as the Pats. How mad's
Yeah,
that?
it's just I don't understand how your team is 5-1.
Dude, this is a guy that's never played NFL fantasy football in my life. You had a little bit more experience than me, and somehow I got dealt the worst team ever as
Yeah,
well.
it was all random as well, and you got the worst team. I even gave you Trevor Lawrence in a trade, and you're absolutely smashing it. And I'm 0-5, so in that league.
I even had Patrick Peterson on my bench that just picked up like 26 points for the pick. Like,
No, I'm not happy about that league. I mean, there's still a lot of football to play, but I don't think I'm getting out. For me though, luckily there is still a bracket for the bottom half of the table.
is there? Okay.
Yeah, there's like although I think it's if you lose in the bracket, that's how you go on in the losers bracket.
Right.
So you find out who comes last.
Last, yeah. You don't want
Um, no,
that.
so I'll try my best not to come last, but I'm moving up in my other
Yeah,
fantasy
that's
league. So
good. Now let's talk about that because your other QB in your NFL fantasy is Aaron Rodgers, right?
yep,
Now, are the wheels off at Lambeau? Are the wheels off at Green Bay? Because
they're not fully on.
they're not fully on,
Um,
they're not with it.
they're wobbling. Yeah, he's had a tough time. I think finally having very few weapons is coming back to bite them a bit.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, he's getting sacked a lot. His offensive line is not doing great things. I think against the Jets, they had 3 points for a majority of the game.
Mm.
Ended up losing to them, obviously, but yeah, he's not having a great time.
Who do you think is the biggest shock so far this year? The Giants or the Jets? Because they're both on fire, both of them teams.
Yeah, I think for me the Jets because the Jets have always been shocking. I don't think I've ever seen them finish even third in our division. So seeing them playing well is ridiculous in my head. I can't get my head around it.
Yeah.
But I still think the biggest shock at the moment is Russell Wilson
Oh, what
because I just don't understand what's happened to him.
he had a mad first quarter against
Yep.
the Chargers, and it just all went to pot. Like, I don't know
I
what.
think he was like 10 for 12 for 100 and something yards and a touchdown. And then from the second quarter all the way through to overtime, he threw like 50 yards. It's mind-boggling. I do not understand how Denver are getting it so wrong when you think they did it so right in trading in getting him. Like that's a great signing for any team.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think anyone saw it coming. I think that's the biggest shock at the moment.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I don't really get it, and I I'm glad I didn't pick him in fantasy because I almost picked him because I
did you?
thought he'd do great, but
Yeah,
I'm very glad I didn't. And the Broncos are very quickly going downhill.
Broncos country. Let's ride. Uh, did you see Tom Brady screaming at his own O line? Like that was pretty brutal. He was going to ham.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was not giving them a good time.
Lost to
I mean,
what is it
but
Kenny?
he's always done it though.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think
I
they've
feel
got
like it's nothing new.
no?
He'll shout at people if he needs to shout at. I mean, it's one of the reasons he's done really well. They played a bit better after that happened. I think did they lost in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost to 20-18. They lost to the Steelers. Still a bit
Oh
of a
yeah,
shock.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, the Steelers are not playing well
no,
at all. So it is a shock. Are the wheels coming off for them? Possibly. I think they're still a bit in their honeymoon period after the Super Bowl win,
yeah, it's true.
um, and haven't really thought of how to restructure after all that. So yeah, I think it's a shame that because I don't think Brady didn't need to come back, obviously.
No.
And if it turns out that he's the problem, I feel like it won't tarnish his career because he's obviously still the best of all time. But I feel like it'll leave a bit of a sour taste
Yeah.
in people's mouths.
The thing is, though, the one thing you don't do is you never write off Brady because he'll come
No,
back. So it
exactly.
wouldn't write him off just yet, but it's not
No,
looking good at the moment.
no.
Also, one last bit of news: Robbie Anderson kicked off on the Cardinals on the Panthers sideline, and he's only gone and got himself a trade to the Cardinals. So
Yeah, what a win that is.
picked him up. Nice pickup that is. Another weapon for
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. So yeah, that's a good move. I don't know what the Panthers are doing, man. Panthers are playing that.
The
Um,
Panthers are being ridiculous. Still think they're still looking at offers for McCaffrey as well.
mm,
They just seem to be wanting to disband that whole team. I don't really get it.
no,
Um, and you think that they were in the Super Bowl in 2015 and they've kind of been shit ever since.
definitely have. I mean, what they got Baker Mayfield. They just signed him this year, and they're
Yeah.
just taking away weapons for him. Like, what do
Yeah, I
you
don't. It's ridiculous. Robbie Anderson's probably their is their number one wide receiver.
yeah, number one or close
And they
second. Yeah, so
yeah, and they dump him off. I think it's a bit harsh on Baker because I think Baker's doing well there. I think that was a good move for him.
mm,
Um, but yeah, shame.
shame. Um, Cricket, the World Cup has started, Sam. Um,
Has
before we start, I have got I think last year when we talked about the T20 World Cup or even the ODI World Cup,
yeah
we were like wondering how the grouping and how the tournament actually works, the tournament tree actually works. So I got it
yeah
down here. I got it down here. So the first round sees two groups of four teams participating in a round robin. The top two teams from each group progress to the Super 12. So that's currently what's happening now. So
yeah
you've got teams like Zambia, Netherlands, UAE, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Ireland, Scotland. I might be missing one or two there, but
Namibia.
they're the lowest ranked sides, and they'll play a round robin, and then the top two teams will progress. The top team from Group B, the Group A, sorry, and the second team from Group B will enter Group 1 of the Super 12s. And the Super 12s are the big cricketing nations. Um,
Yeah,
with the top place side in Group B and the second place side in Group A going to Group 2 of the Super 12s. So that's how they make the Super 12. So to begin with, the Super 12s are a Super 8, and then obviously the two sides from each group of the lower
yeah,
rank stage will go up. The Super 12 stage sees two groups of six teams play a round robin, with the top two teams from each group progressing to the knockout stage. The knockout stage consists of two semi-finals and a final at Australia's MCG on November the 13th. So it makes a little bit more sense now, having
yeah.
explained it in the Super 12s and all that kind of thing. If you're not a true cricket fan, um, but yeah, who do you think? Any early predictions who's gonna win it? England looking in good form. So what are you thinking?
England look really good. Pakistan look really good. Um, Australia, I would obviously never rule them out.
No,
England
especially at
beat
home.
them quite handily in the warm ups, but I've still got I've got high hopes for England.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I feel like England. My only so obviously the World Cup started. I think last time we spoke about it, we were saying that it's not going off to a hot start because it's Namibia versus Sri Lanka.
yeah,
Um, and Namibia only went and won and
smashed
absolutely
it,
dominated Sri Lanka.
smashed it.
So I think there's been a bit of uproar on how it's a bit unfair that these teams don't really get much of a chance to get into the Super
Mm,
12.
yeah.
I think this is I think the next World Cup is a 20-team World Cup.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
So I think they're going to a bit of a bigger format anyway,
Yeah,
because it feels a bit harsh for these 8 teams to
it
only be able
does.
to play these round robins and not really get anywhere. So they play kind of like a mini World Cup where it's a bit shit.
I think
I find it
the
anyway.
reason why they've done it is because the disparity between, say, Namibia and India, like it's so great that they will get absolutely demolished. But
yeah, but I mean,
it's
that's what I
yeah,
mean.
no,
They played Sri Lanka, who are former one of the big, well, they are one of the biggest cricketing nations in the
yeah,
world,
yeah.
and they beat them. So I think that gives kudos to the fact that if everyone played, you just don't know what's going to happen, especially T20.
So
It's
also another example, Scotland beat West Indies by 42 runs. So what I
yeah,
mean? Like West Indies, mate. I swear West Indies won the T20 World Cup. Like, I don't know.
yeah, they beat England.
Yeah, so now Scotland are beating them in the lower rank stage. So
So I feel like it's a bit harsh on them.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, so to be fair, it's anyone's game that either can go up. And I think England's first match is on Saturday, this Saturday against it might be Afghanistan, actually.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
it should be interesting. England have played a couple of T20 a T20 series against Pakistan, and they also played a warm-up game. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Um, Mate, Liam Livingston hit one of the biggest sixes I've ever seen
It's honestly
out the ground.
absolutely outrageous.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you hit it that hard.
So I'm excited to see what he can do in this tournament. He's got an absolute just rocket on him, so it should be interesting. And obviously Ben Stokes is now back in the T20 side, which is good to see. Interesting stuff. F1, it's race week. Austin, Texas, I think it's the USA Grand Prix.
Yeah.
One of, I think, this and three other races left in the season. I think last week when we spoke about F1, we briefly talked about the cost cap breach and which team potentially broke this cost cap, one or two teams. And it turned out to be Red Bull.
He
Oh,
did.
a bit awkward
He
there.
did. A little bit, especially if Horner's come out and said many times that they've not done it. Apparently it's a minor breach, so I think it's 1 or 2 million over the cap. And apparently that was spent on catering or something like that.
Enough I'm buying
Which
that.
I don't really think makes sense, because if they spent too much on catering, they still spent too much overall. So they still overspent in places,
Yeah.
whether it's catering or not. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because nobody really knows what the penalty will be.
No, and I saw
Um,
Toto Wolff is so clever, because he said he basically came out in I think an interview last week and said if the punishment isn't strict enough, so if they just get
mhm.
slapped with a fine, Mercedes are willing to breach the cost cap next year, another minor breach,
Yeah.
and take the fine. So they're really pushing for stronger punishment to be in place, and he has got a point. What's the
Oh,
point?
definitely.
What's the point in
If
a
yeah,
in a cap?
what is the point? Definitely. Um, yeah. So I don't have a problem with Toto saying that. I think that's right. I think there should be more than just a fine. Because, well, what's that going to do in the long run? They will need that. I think there will be some sort of points deduction in some way. But I think it'll be in a way that doesn't affect anything
Yeah,
too
I
much,
think
like
so.
the previous World Championships or this World Champ. They'll either take the points off this World Championship, whereas it won't make any difference.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
so I feel like that's what they're going to do, and yeah, I think Toto's right. If punishment doesn't fit what happened, then yeah, well, I don't see why they shouldn't all break the cost
Yeah,
cap next season.
all break it by a minor
Um,
breach. So
yeah, because what's the point otherwise?
yeah, it's a sticky situation. I think that everyone, there's so much uncertainty around it because obviously this hasn't happened before, and B, the guidance is so like it varies so much. It varies from the championship getting deducted, points getting deducted, and like
Yeah,
then it varies off into various different fines. So it'd be really interesting. I agree with you. I can't see them taking the championship away from Max last year. I just can't. But what they will do, I don't know, and I don't know how long it's going to take for a decision to be made. It's probably going to take ages. But yeah, we shall see. Um, bit of boxing, UFC news. UFC 280 is this weekend. Massive fight card. Me and my mate Callum might be watching this on the old TV. Oliveira versus Makachev for the lightweight belt. Huge bout, huge bout. Makachev is basically Khabib's protege. It'll be interesting to see what will happen. Is he going to ragdoll Oliveira, who's on a ridiculous win streak? I don't know. It's all up in the air. Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw, that should be a good one. And then Peter Yan versus O'Malley, which should be another good fight. I love a bit of Sugar Sean O'Malley. Deontay Wilder came back last weekend and KO'd someone in the first round, as Deontay Wilder does.
Yeah, brutal punch.
Absolutely brutal. Honestly, you could not pay me enough money to get in the ring with him. Just absolutely, like, not even for a mil. No way.
No.
And then Caleb Plant, I don't know if you saw, but he knocked out a fighter called Anthony Durrell, and apparently there was a bit of back chat before the fight, and it was quite intense, some of the trash talking. Anyway, after Caleb knocked him out, he whacked out the old grave-digger celebration. So this guy was KO'd on the floor, mate, and he was like digging.
I saw, actually, no, I did see that. It was like digging the grave.
Throwing dirt on him, mate, like pretending. Oh, mate, he's so savage. He's so savage. At first I thought, mate, that's not on. But then after I found out that there'd been quite some heavy trash talking from his side onto Caleb Plant, I was like, fair game. So,
yeah, exactly.
Coming. Yeah, and that wraps up the podcast. Any shockers or heroes of the week?
A shocker is, we've not heard much from him recently, but Nainggolan, I don't know if you remember, the Belgian guy with the mohawk.
Oh yeah.
He has just been banned. I can't remember for how long, because he was smoking on the bench.
What? Really?
Yeah.
What's he play for now? Is he still a professional?
I don't even know. He's still professional football.
Damn. What is he doing?
I don't know. He's not having a good time.
Nah. Remember, he had a decent FIFA card back in the day. He had a good long shot on him.
Yeah, exactly. He had a ping. He scored absolute worldie against Wales.
Yeah, Wales.
Wales.
What a shocker.
I'm trying to do an accent there, but obviously it came out wrong.
No. I actually didn't know about that. That's pretty crazy. I wonder what his ban's going to be. It's probably a hefty ban or a hefty fine, or whatever. Probably. Shocker for me, I think it's got to be, I haven't got any new ones, so I'm going to go back on what we talked about already. I think it's got to be the whole goalpost incident at Hull Birmingham. I just think that's so funny. I don't know how that's happened or not, why they have to saw it down. But yeah, that's mine. Any heroes for you?
Bailey's out just for being that absolute G.
Fair play. I've got a hero. I saw on Twitter that the oldest Japanese footballer breaks his own record, and he becomes again the oldest Japanese footballer to feature in the K League. I think it is 55 years and 225 days.
Jesus.
I could try and pronounce his name, but I would butcher it, so I apologize. But yeah, mate, oldest footballer. I think it's got to be the oldest professional.
100%.
Actually ever. But yeah, 55 years, nearly 60, 56, sorry. But yeah, madness.
Wow.
And that wraps up the podcast, mate.
Yeah.
That wraps it up. Enjoy the weekend of sport, and we'll catch you again next week. Maybe with camera, maybe not, but we shall see how Sam's Wi-Fi's doing at the time.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows, eh? Yeah, enjoy everyone, and we'll catch you again next time in a bit.